start, so let's do it. Everyone want to introduce themselves first, since, I mean, everybody already knows who we are, obviously, because we're so great, but we should introduce ourselves anyway.
How about you start?
Oh, you want me to go first? I'm Ari. I'm a cam model, a clip artist, and the CEO of Webcam Startup and Camland Podcast.
Hi, I'm Carrie Anthony, aka Platinum Pizzy and the #1 on Twitter, also known as the Queen of BBW. I've been in the business 15 years as a cam model and just a BBW mogul. On to you.
Hi, I'm Patty Sheen. I've been a cam model for 17 years and
award-winning cam model. Award-winning cam model.
Broadcasting on live. Thank you.
I'm Nikki Knight. I've been in the industry since 2010. I was a model for many years, and then I was the head of performer training at Cam4, and now I work for VX Pages, where I'm a web developer. So I help models build their own content sites for selling videos and building their brand. So I'm a cam coach, web nerd, all around BB.
Awesome.
That's me.
Superstar.
A superstar BB.
Hi everyone, my name is Katya Tuni. I'm in industry for more than 14 years. I started as a model, then a cam studio owner, and now I'm a CEO and founder of Models Guide. It's the first online school for Russian-speaking cam models.
Nice.
Awesome. So this is about camming and your first cam show. So if you're in the contemplation stage, you're just thinking of a lot of things. You don't really know what to tackle first. So we kind of came up with some ideas of what you can tackle first so that it's a little easier getting into it and preparing for your first cam show. So first of all, how does everyone maintain their privacy on cam? Maintaining your privacy is super important, and that comes with creating your cam persona. As you probably guessed, everyone in this room is probably going by like a fake name. You don't want people to recognize you. You don't want people to be able to find you, track you down, and it helps maintain your privacy. So do you guys have any tips on building your persona?
For me, I think it's important to be yourself. Because if you're creating a persona, sooner or later you're going to mix your own stories. And if you want to create a long-time relationship with your members, it's best to be sincere. But about social media, if you have one for your personal life, I think it's best to hide it because you need to protect your privacy, your family, your friends, and you don't know when a fan might become a stalker. I have either been lucky or very careful with good instincts, and I didn't have this kind of problems yet.
Yeah, they can take your images and search them through the web, and they are able to find your personal accounts through your images that you use if you have an image that you use on both personal and your business. So that's why you want to hide your personal social media, because they can find you and they will.
A good thing to do is, now that we've talked about social media, because I find that's the one area that people become the most fearful of being found.
Right.
So everyone, even if you've been around for a long time, a good thing to do is go on your mobile device, open up your social channels that you have your model stuff on regardless. And you know where it says import contacts? Do that. Like, I want everyone to go and get every phone number of every aunt, every uncle, every employee that you've ever worked with, whatever. Get their phone number, then import contacts or find friends, see who else has an Instagram, see who else has Twitter when it asks you those things. Import your contacts and go through and fucking block every single one of those people that shows up from your contact list. And if you block them first, they won't suggest you as a friend. You won't come up in lists. So import your contacts from your phone and then go through across every platform and just block those people. And when you're proactive like that, you're not going to have an issue.
This is really great tip, Nikki. I also want to add for those who are afraid to be known, I think the best thing ever is just to accept your work, accept your modeling part, and just tell people, this is who I am, this is what I do. This this is like the best also.
Another thing I find that a lot of people where they get in trouble is what kind of cover story that you're saying that you have. That is probably the biggest thing, because if you're like myself, especially when you become liberated by being naked on the internet, you are a bad liar. So I'm the world's worst fucking liar in the whole
Me
world,
too.
right? Yes, so having a good cover story for what you're doing when you're online all those hours is great. And I learned this one, which I think is extremely useful. Tell people that you have a job at a call center, like a telemarketer, or I had a girlfriend who worked for Neiman Marcus in the call center. There are zero follow-up questions to this like statement. Where do you work? A call center. Oh, super boring. They have 24-hour hours. You can't go to a call center to visit someone at work. Nobody's going to ask about telemarketing or call center jobs. Say you work at a call center, that's it. The conversation stops. So call centers or telemarketing, anything, those are fantastic jobs as cover-ups. Zero questions.
Also, don't give them your information. They will pound you for your real name, your address, your real phone number, your Cash App, your PayPal. Don't give them anything that reveals your personal identity, because once you give it to them, you cannot take it back.
Yeah,
And you just
like
never
your
know.
Facebook. A lot of people give their Facebook, and just don't do that. Don't do that stuff. It doesn't matter how much you know them. It doesn't matter. Even if they're harmless, like just don't, because you never know when you might have a fight with that person. They might get jealous. Regardless, they might even try and find you. They might even accidentally give you up by not meaning to. You know what I mean?
Or
They'll
contact
like
your friends and
something.
family.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
It's
Did you know your daughter is a cam slut?
yeah. You never know. You never know that kind of stuff. So just don't even go there. If you like them, keep the fantasy alive and just stay Nikki. Don't give them the real whatever. And it's a good idea, like what Platinum Pussy or Carrie was saying about using the same images on both your personal and your camming like profiles. Use separate images because they can find you through image searches. But on your personal social accounts, like your Facebook, if you have a personal Twitter, if you have a personal whatever, take a picture of you off as your profile picture. Like I have a fake name on my real Facebook, and I also have a picture of Light Bright, those plastic things that you use in a Light Bright, those little pegs. Just don't use a profile picture of yourself. Have a picture of something else, and that really does help keep your personal stuff private.
And that's a great lead into understanding the associated risks of becoming a cam model. There are a lot of financial risks, first of all, because you have to get acquainted with saving up your taxes yourself, making quarterly estimated payments, and doing things like that. But also the risks of your family finding out, your friends finding out, and understanding that since this is taxable income, it will never truly be a secret.
A lot of times I find out people don't find out through finding you online. A lot of people find out through exes, find out through friends. If you have a fight with someone, you've divulged to a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whomever, you break up, then they're telling. So it usually happens from offline interactions rather than online. So again, even in your online, just keep it to yourself. Like truly, it might be hard. Keep it to yourself. And like you were saying, Katya, like just owning up to it, that comes in a little bit once it's liberated you, right? So you're okay with that. But in the beginning, it's a good idea to just, as hard as it may be, say, I work at a telemarketing center. That's it.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. And what you were saying about the metadata, if you want to take off the metadata off your photos, the easiest way to do that is to go again into your phone, because that's where most of our pictures come from. Inside your camera, open up your camera app, and inside there you can take off location tags, and that's going to delete as much metadata as you need to remove from any images. So I don't have my glasses on, so I can't remember who exactly said that, but that's how you take off metadata. Just go into your camera, take off location tags inside your phone, inside your camera.
And there's a bunch of apps you can use to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next, you've come up with your cover story. You are a telemarketer and you are getting ready to get on cam. What equipment
Yep.
do you need?
You need a webcam.
Oh yeah, but what kind of webcam? Now this is a super common question.
Mm.
Can I just use my webcam that's in my laptop?
You can.
Or you
Yeah, but it's gonna look quite bad.
You can.
Me, personally, I use a Logitech Brevo, and I love how it looks like. I know a lot of models like to use an older version from Logitech, which is C920.
Yeah.
But if you want to go a little bit more high tech, you can always upgrade to a PTZ or maybe a Logitech Rally, or who knows, whatever
Alex,
you
you're so
prefer.
pretty. C920, I think is you use that one. Sorry, Katja.
I think nowadays models should really invest in their equipment in the room and also in everything what's about this work, because the competition is high. And if you want to make a lot of money, you need to provide quality. For example, we teach models to work on live jasmine. And on this site, you even don't have access to the website if you have bad equipment or bad interior. It's not that easy, and this is really not true that you can start making money with your laptop camera. Well, I can make money with my laptop camera, but for newbies, it's not possible. If you don't have money to invest, it's a good way to go to studio and start in studio where everything is arranged.
I myself used the Logitech C920 for a long time. It's great because it's just plug and play, and it can be used across PC and Mac. It's like that one, if you're beginning, Logitech C920 is fantastic. I'm now using the Logitech StreamCam, and it is the same price point as the Logitech C920. So the Logitech StreamCam, it was made specifically for YouTube streamers, and that's again what I have now, and I find the quality is insane. It is beautiful, and it's the exact same price point as the C920. So the StreamCam, I really like it.
Before you go spending a whole lot of money on webcams, get into it for a couple of months and make sure this is what you want to do. The last thing you want to do is spend thousands of dollars buying equipment and then 2-3 months down the road decide this is just not for you. So get started and create a goal. Like if you start seeing that your income is, increasing, set a goal. Like if I make $1,000, then at that $1,000 you can say I would like to get the Logitech and build from there. But you don't need a bunch of expensive equipment. You don't need a beautiful cam room. At the end of the day, you just need to get on cam. The only way you're going to get money is if you log in.
Yep. Especially as a new performer, you have so many pluses. Like you have the new tag. People are definitely expecting to see that amateur-esque kind of feel. And I know for even some websites prefer more of an amateur, really home video, truly like not perfect feel. Some websites and some users of some websites prefer that over something really polished. So depending on the website that you're on, like some cam sites, if you don't have a really beautiful quality, the website itself will say, F you, you have to have this nice, beautiful stream. And then the people, they almost want that really amateur feel. So kind of getting a feel for the viewers and fan base of each fan, like of each website. Again, just speaking from experience, Cam 4, anyone who's on Cam 4, that audience actually will stop watching you if you become too pro looking because they're looking for a true amateur experience. And the people who do make $10,000 to $12,000 a month off that website, who do that, really do keep it kind of low key, home video feeling. Then there's sites more like MFC or Live Jasmine where they like more of a polished look, and you will do better with that. So just keeping that in mind, that you might not accidentally lose your fan base or do something, that might work against you simply by upgrading your stuff, like moving to a DSLR. And on top of the Sparko cam, I'll find it on my phone, but there's a box. It's a black box or whatever, so that you don't have to use Sparko cam. It's some black box. It's $100 and some bucks. You plug it into your DSLR and your computer. Yeah, it's a converter. So, because I've heard bad things about
Capture
Sparkle
card.
Cam.
That's what it's called. A capture card.
Is it a capture card?
Capture
Okay.
card.
Yeah, the and there's one product called Black Box. It's a capture card, exactly what she's saying. So before you do that, use the advantage of being new because it's expected that you look really amateur. Keep that naivete. If you're nervous, keep it as long as you can because it works with you. It's like a bonus, especially at first, then decide. I always feel bad when I see models being like, I'm going to buy the most expensive thing ever. I'm like, girl, what? Don't
Right.
do that yet. You don't have to.
This webcam right here was $30. I just tested out budget webcams the other day at under $35. I tested out 5 of them. And this one was only $30, and it was a very similar quality to the C920, and it was only $30 compared to the crazy market right now of webcams, which has gone up crazy high because of COVID. So
yeah, that's so rude.
Yeah, it is so rude. So there's plenty of great things that you can test out. Testing out cheaper stuff, you really don't always have to invest in top-end equipment, especially when you're first starting out. Like Nikki said, some people like the amateur stuff. Like my original stuff looks like it was filmed on a potato.
I
A
want
potato, that's amazing.
I want to add, yes, this is true that quality of your camera depends on the website, and there are plenty of websites which allow amateur picture. And if you want to make your picture better, better invest in lights than in expensive camera and so on. So if website accept your camera, accept your computer, what you can invest is lights, and then your image will be very good.
Hold on, there's one I'm going to show you guys. I have it right over here. I'm going to get it. I really like this one because it's not super expensive, and also it's discreet, because that's a great tip about investing in lights, because lights actually move your webcam. So if you have low lighting, because the way that webcams work still to this day is it's kind of like a steam engine, right? And the frames per second is like the chugga chugga chugga. And if you have low light, it's going to move slower, which is going to make your image crappier. The more lighting you have, it almost acts like fuel for your webcam. So then your frames per second move faster. That's also why if you have too much light, it moves too fast. So having good lighting will make a big difference. Let me get the camera. It's the Razor. It's the one that has the ring light in it. So it has better lighting. It's great. The reason it is also great is because the lighting then becomes discreet, and you don't have to hide a bunch of lighting equipment in your house, which can be kind of like yo, why do you have professional lights in your house? No reason. All right, I'm going to go get it. BRB.
Also, the ring lights are pretty awesome because you can just use it for selfies. You can use it and it's easy to get away with because it's a ring light, and who doesn't have a ring light anymore, you know?
You can even get one of those little ones for your phone, especially when you're first starting out and you want to cut the cost of your equipment. One of those little $10 ones for your phone that is about the same size as that webcam Nikki is holding, and just stick that up on your monitor.
Yeah, here, let me plug it in. So it's this guy. Great lighting. Here, I'll just plug it into something right here so you guys can see.
Allie is stealing the show.
He usually does.
Yeah, that's my guy.
That's my guy. All right, well, I can't turn it on, but you just twist it like this and you can make the light brighter or not as bright. For people like myself, and I mean, Hottie Teen and Carrie, I took my glasses off. So if you have glasses, this is shitty. But for any of you lucky bastards with nice vision and you don't have to wear glasses, this is a great option. There you go. See? That's fantastic. This is, again, the Razor Stargazer with the ring light on it is a really great option if you want to add some lights.
Oh.
And Nikki disappeared. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyway.
I think I'm back.
I don't see. Oh, maybe you're just flipping on.
She's been abducted by aliens.
I
have been.
But anyway, now, what kind of computers do we recommend? Not Chromebooks, first of all. I would never recommend a Chromebook to you. I always personally recommend you have at least 8 gigs of RAM. And I know that's kind of scary starting off, but you can actually get desktop computers that have the speed that you want, and they'll be older models, but it will work well for camming. Now, that's a pretty big investment. If you're going to do something like that, you can rent computers. I would use like Aaron's Furniture or something like that. So you invest and get all your equipment set up at first if you don't know that camming will be the thing for you, and then you can invest when you decide that it is for you. Because you will, because it's wonderful. What kind of computers do you guys recommend?
Don't do a Mac. Do not, because those it will just update itself out of existence for you. Much better getting a PC. You can add more power to it. They're much cheaper, and the internet was made for a PC. I cammed on a Mac, and it was just, after a while, I would do so many updates, and it would just be like, okay, you've updated enough that this Mac is now irrelevant. And then I ended up cashing in my war bonds that my grandfather gave me, war bonds from World War II, to buy my other MacBook. And same thing happened. Like, it's just, it updates to a certain point, and then after a while, it's like your computer can it's no longer compatible with these programs, whether you're using, because some websites will have their own broadcasting software, right? It's like, nope, you need to update more, it's whatever. So I highly recommend just get a PC. It's so much easier, and then it's not as pretty, but it's less expensive. Keep your Macs for doing your videos if you want to have both. That's my 2 cents, because it sucked for me.
I agree.
No. I'm on an MSI right now. I'm on a gaming website, or I'm on a gaming computer. Gaming computers are great because they have great video cards, and that's what you need to broadcast nicely. So any gaming computer, I've never even heard of an MSI until I got this one, and I love it.
So let's talk about the great debate. Do you get desktop or laptop?
Oh, laptop.
See, I'm team desktop. Yeah.
Desktops are more powerful.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what you got to consider. A desktop, if you are going to primarily cam from home, because a desktop is going to have, for me, in my opinion, more power, more stability. You know, when you travel and you're going to be moving around a lot, then you do a laptop, because obviously you're not going to carry that big desktop around with you. But yeah, you got to consider, where is your main camming space going to be? And personally, a desktop for me just has more power. It's more stable, less crashing. Yeah.
It's true. Laptops are nice. You can move around a little bit more, but a desktop 100% does have more power. They just do. And there's less technical issues. I've never had a desktop personally, but I bow to the power. But I don't know. Laptops I find just less expensive. I can move around, and I just like being able to walk around with it.
You can get.
Plus, I have a rainbow keyboard.
So they have rolly desks that you can put your desktop on. And if
mine is on a rolly desk.
Mine is too much.
I want to give a little bit of credits to Max. I think this is good for models who are very mobile. Also, one advantage about Mac that you don't need camera splitter programs. It's already built in the Mac. Me personally, I have a Mac, and I use it for my work as a model trainer, as a studio owner, and also sometimes for modeling. The websites which I use, they perfectly perform on the Mac. I haven't had any problems with the Mac. So.
Someone asked me, I have the MSI, I don't know what it's called, but it's the Intel. It has a 1.7, very powerful something.
Definitely shoot for Intel i5 or higher when you get a computer.
And get a comfortable chair. Or
yes.
Think about, I personally love a like a big oversized comfy chair or a love seat. When you're camming, you want to be comfortable, but you want to be, in a place where you can move around. And when you're sitting for hours, you want your butt to be comfortable, like in a nice, cushy environment.
I cannot stress that is an amazing point. Yes, if you don't have a good chair, especially when you get a little old and after camming, you're like in awkward positions. A good chair is like, it's so necessary. Fantastic point. For the lumbar support.
Yeah.
Like, good God, we're all getting so old. Hold on, I'm trying to find a thing.
All right. So while Nikki tries to find the thing, we're going to talk about setting boundaries. So your first cam show, you're probably going to want to set some personal boundaries with yourself and set some boundaries within your chat so people are aware of what you will do and what you won't do. Most models will often have this either listed somewhere on their profile, or they'll specify the things that they like to do and specialize in to try to avoid doing things that they don't want to do. A good way to keep accountability for yourself is make yourself a little list, and you can keep it on your desk or around you, and just have a list of things that are hard no's for you, and no matter what, you will say no to these things. Because when money is being kind of thrown in your face, it can be tempting to go back on your no list, but you shouldn't ever do that and ever feel pressured to make yourself feel uncomfortable, because you are your own boss and you should never have to do that.
Agree. It's agree. When you start chasing, like, the one thing that I find a lot of people forget is that we're not a peep show. So you're not a peep show, like put in a quarter, see some titties or see some dick, and then that's it. I always liken camming to the radio, because on the radio, like, you hear some of the most famous, richest stars of our day. Like, you hear Beyonce all day. But the reason why people go from listening to Beyonce for free on the radio to her concert is because they like her as a person, or they like whatever band, like, you like them as a person. So you should think of yourself as the same way. So if you're a model in free chat, every website to some extent has free chat in some way, whether it's, private show based or freemium based, whatever. People will tip you that big money that you've been promised in all the camming ads if they like your personality. So doing stuff because you like need the money, don't do that. People will respect you, and you'll respect yourself more, and it will show on cam a lot more. And, like, just clear as a bell, if you do and stick to your own feelings, it's never worth it. I've done stuff that I was kind of like, ugh, afterwards. That stuff chips away at your soul. And think about yourself as a personality. People tip you that big money because they like you as a person, not because they looked at your boobs. You're not going to become a millionaire for tips for flashes. That's not how you become a millionaire. You become a millionaire by having an overall great personality. And that's when, when you watch a model and you go into the room and someone drops just a fucking huge tip, and it's like, they didn't do anything. I didn't see them do anything. It's because they like that person's personality, not because they think they're going to get a flash out of it. And that's the same thing with the radio. You go to a person's concerts, you buy their perfume, you buy their merchandise, you buy their fragrance because you like them, not because they specifically did something for you. So you kind of have to think of yourself as the same way. Don't do shit you don't want to. You can just very nicely say, I'm sure there's someone else who will. And if somebody tipped you and then starts demanding stuff, any website, simply contact the admin of your website, refund that money, and say no thank you. You do not have to feel pressured to do anything. You can simply work with the admin of your site. It's fine.
Alexis Taylor asks, how do you carry your personality across when none of the viewers are interacting during your show? Tip: talk to yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. Say things like, oh my God, you love that video? Oh, I love it too. I scored it all over, blah, blah, blah. And just have this engaging conversation that someone's going to be like, oh, what are you talking about? And if they ask you who you're talking to, tell them you're talking to another member or another person in your show. And then they're like, they want to get involved in the conversation. And I talk about videos because that gives me a way to upsell my videos. I talk about, new content, packages, fan clubs, whatever is like my upsell for the day, because I usually go into each session like, I've got this new video. Oh, I took some new pictures outside. And so I try to keep the conversation wrapped around what my goal is for the day. And talking to yourself, they want to get involved.
That's a great tip. That's absolutely a great tip. Remember, everyone, that something that I don't think people really realize, we get stuck in our own head a lot and forget that the people on the other side of the camera, especially with coming in and out of your room or not talking, we forget what it's like to be a viewer. If you find yourself becoming really obsessed with these things, you need to start watching some cam shows and realize what it's like to be a viewer. These people don't know what to say to you. If they're not engaging with you, like, they might be in another tab, right? So don't think that they're just staring at you. They might be in, like, have a few tabs open, switching back and forth. They could be watching you in secret. They could be, you know, the sound could be off because they're maybe in public or at work. They don't have headphones. So there's a whole bunch of different reasons why someone might not be speaking. Don't think that it's simply because you're not good enough. Again, they could be in the bathroom. The sound could be off. They could be looking at another tab. They could be talking in other rooms, whatever. Talking to yourself is a fantastic thing. Also, another thing you should be doing is changing up your webcam angle, because as we watch TV as a society, we have been trained to be silent. People don't talk to their TV. We yell at the TV, right, when we look at it, but we don't talk to it. So if you want to snap people back into paying attention to you, move your webcam around. It instantly reminds them that what this is live, and human beings actually can't do anything but start looking at that. We're hardwired to notice movement, and they will engage with you. And if you need a reminder to move your webcam around, put a little sign beside your camera that says move your webcam. Move it around. I promise you, even in coaching shows, when I did this to coach and teach it as a lesson, my coaching shows, people engaged with me more because it keeps their attention, and it also builds a sense of suspense. What's going to happen next? And this is tapping into a hardwired instinctual thing that all humans are born with. We have to pay attention to movement, and the movement then creates a sense of suspense. What's happening next, which creates excitement. People will demand and beg stuff less because they're not visually bored, and they will engage with you more. So move your webcam, talk to yourself. And Ari, what were you going to say? Sorry.
Also, greet people by name because it creates a more personal experience. And if you want to entice people to chat with you, you can also set something in your topic, or if you're on a site that supports rotating reminders, with a simple vanilla question. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? It'll get them chatting, and it can also set up your fake conversation because you can say, oh, your favorite food is this, to an invisible person, and then other people will get jealous.
Also, keep them stroking. Keep the conversation with them aroused if you can. Because one of the things that I found, even on OnlyFans, on my website, and in camming, is that when you keep them focused on the boner, don't give everything away. But when it gets time, then you can upsell them, and they're going to be like, oh, no, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose it. And if you keep them in that frame of mind, I mean, come on.
Games is a good way to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Having some kind of props are always really fun. Even draw a smiley face on your dildos. Having a sidekick or like an like a prop, I always find it makes it a lot easier, like just to talk to someone or remind them, focusing on them on the goal. That's a really, oh, I like your light.
Or just show it.
Yeah, you can have them just sitting there. A good idea for having, that's a great dildo. If you have it like just stuck right here, you know where the tip button is on your thing. If you stick it right there, that it's right over your tip button in your window, people are going to look at it, and it's going to be right above your tip button. And that's a great way to put it right between your titties. I mean, fuck this lip balm. So she's got a dick in between her titties right now. So doing stuff like that really does kind of keep them focused. You're right, because they will just start chatting.
Well, now they're going to ask you, like, how much would it cost to get you to put that in your mouth, or how much to whatever. And you have the best holders, right?
Let's find out. I'm not even sure. Just start pressing buttons. Let's go. Let's see. I'm not sure.
Right?
And you should always go on your site as a customer at least once or twice and see what it's like on their end, see what's enticing them, because the site you're on might be offering special deals on tokens or whatever site currency they run in. So go on there as a customer, see what it looks like on their end. Is your camera flipped? Do you have to put something up in the corner to draw attention to people? Like, just try.
That's a fantastic point. That's a fantastic point, because if we want money, you need to see your room, what it's like from the eyes of a tipper, because what we see and what they see, and even what we think they see or what we think is going on, is not what's going on, right? Because we're in a whole other level of anxiety in our mind. But when you watch from a viewer's point, it's fantastic point. Yes, Katya?
I want to come back to topic about boundaries of the models, and I noticed with my students, models who have higher boundaries, they earn more money. Also, if we look from the point of view of viewer, he comes and model with low boundaries, she can show a little bit more in free chat. She can show things for cheaper. She can show even for free. And then viewers who wants to pay, they think like, why should I pay? And models should really keep very strong boundaries with what she does for free, what she does in private, what she does for money, and that helps her to make more money.
I agree, because then it's an easier way to upsell your private chats. Because if you only do something that somebody's asking for in private, just say, oh yeah, I do that in private. I don't give that shit away. No, it's special, baby. Totally. But knowing your boundaries and then monetizing that comes from like saying, I do this in public, I do this in private. That's a fantastic point, because it's true.
And that's a
Helps
great
you
lead
sell.
for what kind of cam model are you? Are you a token site cam model? Are you a private one-on-one cam model, a group show cam model? There's all sorts of camming styles, and finding out the one that works for you will help you succeed in the long run. Don't force yourself to work in a style that doesn't work for you. Some of us, we don't like the crowdfunding aspect of token sites. We want private one-on-one, and that works better. So sites like, Streamate, I'm Live, Flirt for Free, stuff like that are better for people like that. Whereas if you're more of a crowdfunding person, if you're good at entertaining a massive audience, you might like Chatterbait, My Free Cam, stuff like that. Yes.
I got in trouble on privates, like one-on-one. I got in trouble all the time. All the time. I got in so much trouble. So I'm definitely, because I just did everything you weren't supposed to do. Like just whatever. I just got in trouble. So I did much better in token sites, freemium sites. That was more for me because there's less rules, because I don't think about, I'm not anti-establishment, I'm anti-authority. Okay. So I don't do,
You should have done crypto sites then, Nikki.
Right. Like I just don't do well with people telling me what to do, because if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. So freemium was definitely more for me, but I have very much recommended people who were in freemium who didn't like it to go to a pay per minute, and vice versa, because the two different business models, like it's like a personal thing in your heart what you feel, because it shouldn't make you feel gross to do this job, but one might over the other, even if camming's right for you. So finding out that and like just test it out. Are you freemium or are you more like pay per minute? And you can still do pay per minute privates on a freemium, which is just like free open chat where there's no rules, very few rules. You can do that too. But yeah, testing out both is a very good idea, because you can really do some internal soul damage.
Also, remember, regardless of what site you're on, don't jump into the action right away. Milk it. You gotta ease them into it. If you do it immediately, you're gonna get a minimum amount of money for the most amount of work. So you want to slowly, and then build them up for something. If you find that if you're in a freemium, you want to build them up for a goal. If you're on a pay per minute, then you want to engage in the things that you are willing to do. Tell them what turns you on. Tipping, oh my God, it makes me so wet. Every time you tip, and now they want to engage with you, whether it's freemium or whether it's, I'm not really sure. I haven't been on Live Jasmine and those sites in a while, but I know on Streamate they have gold and you can use your love ends with that and, be interactive, whatever it takes.
Rub on top of your underwear. You can rub on top of your underwear. You can rub on top of your bra.
Right.
You can rub on top of that stuff. And that's super sexy. Think about the eroticism of it.
There's a misconception that if you do pay per minute private shows, that there's no teasing. The name to the game in camming is always teasing. No matter what kind of show you're doing, if you are getting paid per minute or if you're getting paid in tokens or whatever, you want to stretch that shit out. First of all, longer show, better content, record it, post it on your fan club too. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And you just want to continue to just kind of push people's limits, extend, because you also got to consider maybe one guy you're entertaining, he might have finished his business already, but there might be other people watching. You got to just keep it entertaining, keep it going, stretch it out. The only time that doesn't really apply so much is when you're doing site shows, because you kind of discuss the plan beforehand, but that's a little different than just site camming in general. It has different guidelines, but Tease, always. Stretch that shit out.
Talk about things that turn you on, whatever. Tell them a good thing to do in private or not. If they were there, what would you have them do? So I'm horny right now. If you were here, I'd make you do this. Give your viewers a job. If you want to be called something, give them a job. It shouldn't all be on you. Men love jobs. They love getting a job. So give them a job. If you were here, I'd make you do this. Rub my feet. Oh, you want that? How would you rub my feet? Blah, 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 blah. That's great. Tell me more.
Also,
Tell
you
me
control the
more.
narrative. You have to control the narrative, because if you ask them what they want, you're going to end up all over the place. You're going to have this guy who wants foot fetish, this guy who wants to be dominated, this guy who wants you to be a slut. You have to control the narrative. So create a base theme and just roll with that, and try to keep them in that little, themed outline.
A job at a time.
Give them control, you'll be all over the place.
Don't put it on them too much either, because you gotta
Yeah.
consider
Put
these
them on the
people are
spot.
really typing with one hand, so you can't put too much responsibility in their court.
Give them no responsibility.
I can't even do that. How do they do it? They might be on the phone doing it. You gotta give them their time.
So I want to add for the girls, when they think what to choose, freemium or premium, it's important to understand the difference. If you are type of girl who can communicate with the public and keep attention of the public, then it's definitely freemium. But if you're more into personal connection, one-on-one, this is premium. And when girl choose the right business model for her, then she's absolutely happy and have very good experience with the camming. But think what kind of personality you are.
For sure. All right, so next, advertising and creating hype and how it's beneficial. So we talked about social media a little bit, but you are your own product. You need to hype yourself up. And this isn't just when you're on cam. Part of the biggest job of being a cam model is actually the time you spend off cam promoting yourself. So what are your tips for promoting yourself, guys?
Use social platforms that you generally, regardless, you like using anyway. I love Twitter. I absolutely love Twitter. I liked it more than other things. Great. So use a social platform. Don't feel like you have to use all of them, because you don't. That's impossible. And use platforms that you like using anyway. Engage with your audience. Like, make sure that you're doing your tweets or posts. Add your link to your room. Add what site you're on. Make it easy for people to find you.
Add your affiliate link to your room.
Yeah, add your affiliate link, add the link to your actual live shows, have your username, link it in your bio, talk about stuff when people talk to you, like the reply back, like be social on social media. If you are only tweeting or posting things that say I'm online with no link to your room, a picture that's 10,000 years old, a picture of somebody else, or hey guys, I'm online, that's the most boring shit I've ever heard in my life. So put something up, like even decide to be a little bit clickbaity. Something weird happened in your room, take a picture. You broke something, take a picture of the broken object and say, yeah, I broke this. You probably want to find out why. Tweet. So things that are more without a finish, like come and see this, like suspenseful, great. Another really big thing, more than being social, is when you are tweeting, posting, or letting your fan base know that you are online, it is a lot more beneficial to appeal to their sense of what's in it for me rather than their sense of charity, because you will always get disappointed if you're trying to tweet to them or talk to them, hey, come do my thing, I need you, please help me. People don't want to hear that shit. Everyone has issues. But what's in it for me? Like, hey, hate your boss and you're horny at work? Did you know that you can watch my show on mobile? Here's the link. Did you know that you can do this? Here's the link. Did you know that you can, take control of my webcam? Yeah, here's the link. So things like that are a lot more effective, something what's in it for them, rather than, oh, I need to make this goal. People don't care. Sorry, but they don't. So what's in it for them? Always be thinking, what's in it for them? Why would they care? Why do they care? And you're going to have a lot more success. Mm-hmm.
For me, social media is very important, and I do love to keep in touch with my fans even if I'm offline. Members do love to know little things about you, and it's always good to let them know when you're going to be online, when you're going to be offline. You have to show them that you respect them and try to communicate with them about your availability. Also, when you're posting videos and pictures on Twitter, I love Twitter, you have to keep them interesting and don't give yourself away. Post like more seductive, teasing photos, stuff like that.
And you said the magic word, show that you respect them. Men, it's a proven fact that men respond to, they want to be respected more than loved, even by someone that like their wife or their husband. So men prefer respect as opposed to love. So using respect words as opposed to I love you, baby, and showing respect for their money develops tipper trust, and you're going to have a lot more response, and you're going to get the reaction that you want when you show respect for their money, respect for them as people. Haughty teen, you hit it right on the head with that word. So respect over love, big time.
I think the promotion is very, very important in webcam because it increases sales, and a lot of models, they forget they have a lot of promotion tools inside platform. Mm-hmm. And I advise before you start the social media promotion, learn everything of promotion inside your platform. Every platform has many tools like to make your profile beautiful, customized profile. Think about your positioning, what kind of model you are, what you offer to your clients, what niche you are in, and put this all in a profile. Also, websites have tools, promotional tools like contests,
yes.
VIP shows, discounted shows, happy hours, scheduled shows. Use this everything for promotion before start social media, because this is also very huge work, and sometimes it's also offline work, but it increase sales, and it is also promotion, but inside the platform.
Great, totally, 100%. Joining contests, huge. It's on-site promotion. Big tip right there. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest things when you first start out is going to be, are you going to cam independently or are you going to cam under a studio? That is a good question for a lot of models, and some models feel the need to join studios because they are lacking a location, so they need a physical location to cam in. They feel they need the technical help. They feel that they need the time management help, or they want to be promoted by their network that the studio has. So let's discuss studio camming versus independent camming a little bit. First of all, I would just love to hear everybody's takes on studio versus independent.
I think there's a definite place for both. I mean, we've seen that some places in the world have more studios than others, but it was necessary for them and it works for them. Like there's definite pluses and minuses for both, especially now that studios really have come a long way, and that like a lot of studios are really great. So I think it just kind of depends. Like, do you want to have that support there, or do you want to have the flexibility and freedom, or can you do it on your own? Doing it on your own has definite bonuses, but to have that extra support there, that's also really nice as well. So it's really. And even, I mean, for North American models, there's not a lot of options for studios because there just aren't a lot of physical studios around. So it's that.
Also, you got to think about like for if you have always been in a corporate or a work environment, being a part of a studio makes you accountable. Most studios have like a certain set of requirements, and they keep you on your toes. They keep you, if you're not accustomed to running your own business, if you're not accustomed to being self-managed and being an independent worker, being in a studio helps give you that criteria that says, okay, well, I have to do my 4 hours today. I have to accomplish this. I have to accomplish that. Otherwise, you risk losing your job. So if that's what you need, it's okay. Everyone has a different approach to how they run their operation, so to speak. And some people are meant for being independent. I am not, although I am. I don't hold myself accountable like I should. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to get on cam. And then I'm like, screw it. I'm not getting on. I feel like watching Netflix now. So you got to think about, where do you fall in line as far as self-management and being accountable?
Well, I do believe that being an independent model is very hard, and you have to do everything on your own. You have to know the business, know computer. Computer is everything, and it's not easy at all. I even had to learn how to edit videos and pictures. And it's true, as an independent model, you can take as many free days as you like, do your own schedule, stuff like that. But I sincerely would not advise you to do that, because you work really hard to gain your regulars. And if you're going to take too many free days, you'll lose them. And that's not very good.
I'm a pro studio person. I advise models to go to the studios if they're really new. Of course, it depends on your area. For example, in Europe and in Russian-speaking countries, there are a lot of studios and big choice. But models come to this work because they are in need of money. And they don't have money to invest and time to learn. So definitely, if model wants fast result, money now, then it's the best choice is to go to the studio. And then she will see if she likes this job, or she continues with the studio. Yeah, I'm pro studio. If you want to work from home, it's true, it's very hard. You need to learn a lot. And then I would advise to find a good coach or a good online education that can help you with everything.
Also, one thing I want to say is learning to do everything yourself is amazing. In the 15 years I've been in this business, I have learned skills, resources, and I have managed to take on things that a college education could have never have taught me. And I can take that outside of the business, which I do have vanilla gigs as well, because, I don't know where the state of the adult industry will be. So I make sure that I am well-versed, caught up, and keep training myself on up-to-date stuff. Video editing, you can do that for anybody. Blogging, social media, marketing, all the stuff that you do for your independent business, you can take those skills with you and use them anywhere in the world to do just about anything. So don't let it overwhelm you. Take it on. You're already taking the first step. You're here.
Take it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. For sure. I can definitely agree that I've learned things in camming, especially with like what I do now, building CMS platforms for models. Those are transferable skills that you can take with you for the rest of your life. A studio is going to help you out in a lot of those things, but learning them on your own is also a huge plus. But I think it basically comes down to you, your area. They're both great choices. Just depends on what you can swing, because in North America, I think the options are very limited, and online studios, like virtual studios, I would be wary of. Like, what are they actually doing for you?
Some virtual studios have some pretty good perks. And I think one of the biggest things I like about virtual studios versus just like physical studios is that a lot of virtual studios allow you to cut ties immediately. So they help you while you're with them. You can cut ties immediately and go independent. Whereas with some physical studios, that can be a little harder. So that leads me into my next tip, which is if you do decide to become a studio model, know what you're agreeing to. A lot of studios will make it so if you leave the studio, you can't cam for a specific amount of time afterwards. So you need to be aware of that going in, that if you plan to go independent at any point, you need to sign with a studio that isn't going to hold you after you leave them.
Katya, do you have any tips for looking through that contract?
For online studios?
For online, just studios in general, like because I know some of them are like, hey, here's a contract. I mean, obviously a contract is in any business is good. Contracts protect both sides. But Ari's saying that like some contracts may be misleading, or they might have a non-compete, so that if you leave them, you can't cam for a period of time after you leave the studio. To me, I would like to know the names of those studios, and I'd like to punch them in the face, because that's just the rudest thing I've ever heard. But it's most of them. Well, I'm about to go to jail because that's just ridiculous. But Katya, being a studio owner yourself, what are some things that people should look for when signing that contract? Which is, you don't want to get.
Well, actually, the contract definitely is needed because it shows a relationship between studio and the model, and it says about all the conditions and rights. And of course, you need to look if there's any suspension after if you leave the studio, if you can work with the platform. But I don't think studio is able to do it if only they have a special contract with the website or special agreement with the website. For example, some websites, they connect the account to this studio, and only with this studio you can have this account. Some websites, they don't care. For example, if you are like Jasmine model, you can work with one studio, with another studio, you can work at home. But there are some certified studios, and they have block for 3 months. I think you cannot work like Jasmine if you leave this studio. So those things you need to watch. About other sites, I am not sure how it works. I think there shouldn't be problem to have a new account like MyFreeCams. I'm not sure about those sites. Can only say about like Jasmine.
Yeah, Vicky makes a good point. I was going to say that. Make sure that they don't own your name, that you can leave. But when you leave, you take your identity and your, what do they call it? The online digital, your digital
likeness?
Likeness, yes. That you're able to take that with you. And that's one of the things I wanted to say in the beginning is when you're setting up your cam stuff, pick your name wisely. Google your name and pick it wisely, because if you keep changing your name, you basically have to start all over again. So pick your name.
Buy your domain.
Buy your domain.
It's $17, and I'm talking Canadian money, so it's probably $6 in America. But buy your domain. Like I have nikkinight.com and I have nikki-night.com. Again, this will help you if you want to build your own content site, your own website as a model afterwards, because then no one can take that from you. If you own your own domain, you're good. But yeah, if you're signing on to like as a new model with a studio, that's an excellent point. Make sure that whatever name that you choose, they don't then own that name. So see if there's a time afterwards that you can't cam. There's a non-compete afterwards. Make sure they don't own your likeness or your intellectual property or your name. And then also I would say take a look at what they're taking from you, like what percentage, and what does that actually entail, right? And what you're actually agreeing to. And don't be afraid to not agree to something, because that's just negotiation. Studios, they do invest a lot into a person. A lot of money goes into a model, and they are taking a chance on them to see if you're actually going to produce, because they are offering you a lot of resources, which is fine. But just make sure that you completely understand what that means. Or if you're sick, are there any penalties? If you can't make it one day, are there any penalties? Do you get charged for missing a day? Whatever.
All right, and we're almost at the end of our session, so I just want to open it up to the chat going on right now, to any questions that you guys might have for us, and we can answer them hopefully really quick before we run out of time.
Before we get to move.
We're all nice and talkative. I missed you so much.
I had my coffee. Yeah, thanks, guys. We have 91 people watching this. That's awesome. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. That's wicked.
Alexis said, what about choosing a niche? That really determines on what you feel comfortable, what category you feel you're comfortable with. For me, I'm BBW, I'm MILF. BBW is big, beautiful woman. So essentially, I'm a curvy, chubby MILF. And
when I was BBW, mine was big bitch of a woman. I call myself.
To find your niche, look at your physical talents. I don't know, talents, physical appearance, what you have, your age. Think if you are teen or MILF. If you have big boobs, big ass, long legs, feet, and also think what is your character and what
turns you on?
What you like, what you want. Something you can choose. For example, maybe you like a food fetish, and you can develop in this, or maybe you have big biceps like I have.
Ooh, yeah, girl.
I choose
The babes are that way.
fitness. It depends on what you have and what you like.
Yeah, what you like is a big one, because remember, at the end of the day, if you are not turned on by what's happening, it takes a piece of you. It takes a lot of energy to be false in this, because you have to seduce a robot, essentially, because you don't see these people. You need to get something back. And it's honestly, and I cannot even stress this enough, I know it sounds so like duh, but it's the freaking truth, is it doesn't matter what you are doing. It does not matter what you are doing. It doesn't. It's how much fun and how much the people can see you enjoying what you're doing. So regardless, if it's weird, if it's not weird, doesn't matter. If you're having the time of your life, honestly, people will watch. But if you're trying to please everyone in the room, that's not sexy, because as much as you think it isn't showing, it's showing. It is showing. Right? So do what makes you happy. Do what turns you on, and then everything else will fall into place.
And that's a great note to end it on. Unfortunately, we do have to call it quits because our time has come. But if you have any questions for us individually, you can, I believe, click on our profiles, contact us that way, shoot us a message. Nikki Knight is a cam coach, so I'd highly recommend reaching out to her. You can reach out to anybody here. We would all love to be of assistance. You can also visit webcamstartup.com. We have a bunch of tips for you. I mean, that's kind of my whole thing.
Awesome podcast. Carrie Anthony, Miss Platinum Pussy, has an awesome podcast. Where we were ghosts. Hold on.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Jay, and all the people at YNOT for putting this together. And hopefully, when I press leave, it keeps us all out, maybe.
Thank you, Bowie, for being cute. Bye.